These people are full of
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar facing some significant fallout after making these harsh comments following the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
There is nothing more effed up, than to completely pretend that his words and actions have not been recorded and in existence for the last decade. These people are full of and it's important for us to call them out.
President Trump responded to her comments thusly.
Should she be stripped of her community assignments?
I would say, I think she's a disgraceful person. I think she's a disgraceful person, a loser. It's amazing the way people vote. I know it's people from her area, maybe of the world. I don't know. They got here and they vote her in. It's hard to believe, but I think she's a disgusting person.
She's a disgusting person, not only because of what she said about Charlie. She's a disgusting person because her heart is disgusting. This woman hates America. And she told us she got elected to Congress not to serve Americans, but to serve the people of Somalia. Watch this video.
Here's what she said and what people are criticizing her. For as long as I am in the U.S. Congress, Somalia will never be in danger. Its waters will not be stolen by Ethiopia or others. Sleep in comfort knowing that I am here to protect the interests of Somalia from inside the U.S. system. The woman you sent to Congress working day and night to protect your interests.
She said, the woman you sent to Congress is working day and night to protect your interest. Who sent you to Congress? Because as far as we're concerned, you should be working for the American people. As far as we're concerned, the American people are paying for your salary. Who sent you to Congress? But hey, she told us she's here working for Somalia. She told us Somalia before America. Now we cannot be surprised if she's making decisions that are against the interests of the American people. And that's the danger of allowing people that were not born in this country to run for office. Because we really don't know how they feel about America. We don't know their true intentions for this country. We don't know if they are special agents working on behalf of our enemies. And if you think Omar is bad, wait until Zoran Mamdani gets into office, which is unfortunately very possible.
Tennessee Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn took offense, reacting on X, quote, Ilhan shows no remorse in slandering an honorable man who was brutally murdered in cold blood for the entire world to see. As many grieve the loss of a husband, father, and patriotic American, Ilhan has chosen a divisive and dangerous path for our country. Omar responded to the heat she's taking for her comments by saying that while she disagreed with Charlie Kirk vehemently about his rhetoric, that her heart breaks for his wife and children.
These people are truly evil. They supposedly have husbands. They supposedly have kids. Now, for them to see Charlie Kirk, who is a father, a husband, a son, a leader for a movement, assassinated in cold blood in front of the world by exercising his First Amendment right, for you as an elected official to celebrate this act of evil. I have no words, guys. I have no words. Now, since we're talking about evil, since we're talking about Ilhan Omar, let's talk about how she got rich. Because I would love to know, and I'm sure the American people would love to know. In 2023, she had a business that was valued at $1,000. That same business today, 2 years later, is valued at $25 million. From $1,000 to $25 million. There was no acquisition, there were no major structural changes, nothing. Magically transformed from 1,000 to 25 million. She has a second business, which is a winery. Very strange. She claims to be a Muslim woman, but she's selling alcohol totally against her religion. If she can sell out her own religion for money, we can imagine what she would do to America for money. Nonetheless, that second business, the winery, was valued at $15,000 2 years ago in 2023. Today, 2025, that winery is valued at $5 million. 15,000 to 5 million. So you mean to tell me Ilhan Omar, who is a congresswoman working full-time in Congress on behalf of the people in Somalia, as she said, she's working full-time in Congress. She has time to run 2 businesses, and she was able to grow those businesses from $16,000 to $30 million. Are you with me? Are you guys with me? Now, certainly she took a couple classes from Nancy Pelosi University, but all jokes aside, we need to start holding these people accountable. We need to start holding these people accountable. We cannot be electing people to work on behalf of the American people's interests, and then they go and work against the American people's interests, and then commit all type of bribery and insider trading while the American people here are suffering.
Fox News contributor Kayleigh McGee-White, just back from maternity leave, short as it was, and former Biden Director of Message Planning, Megan Hayes. So what did you think of what Ilhan Omar has been saying?
So I think her words are disgusting and reprehensible, but the problem here is that it's protected under the Constitution. She was not inciting violence. She was not inciting any sort of hate speech is still protected. So, the president turned around and called her disgusting and called her a terrible person, which is very similar to what she was doing. And I think that that's part of the problem here is you can criticize someone's point of view, but that doesn't mean they need to die for it, which we've all talked about. And the political violence is horrible. So that's the problem here is what she said was not right. I didn't like it, but she has the right to say it.
For so long, us conservatives, we have been fighting those lunatic Democrats with kindness, hoping one day they would have common sense. But hey, enough is enough.
Nancy Macy has introduced a motion to strip her of her committee assignments. This is what the Congresswoman said. Listen here.
We've been called Nazis, Hitler, terrorists, fascists, and at some point, Democrats are going to have to take responsibility. And we can start with Ilhan Omar.
Should that happen? Should she be stripped of her committee assignment?
Absolutely.
Well, sure, because she's not protected from the consequences of her own actions. In fact, Democrats did this exact thing to Marjorie Taylor Greene over comments that she made before she was even elected to office. They stripped her of her committee assignments and they censored her. And so that is exactly what should happen to Representative Ilhan Omar here. And quite frankly, if a vote is taken, I would hope that congressional Democrats would join Republicans in voting for that censure, in voting to strip her of those committee assignments, because they have an opportunity here to prove Republicans wrong, to prove conservatives wrong, and to show that they are not beholden to the radical left, which is currently grave dancing on the grave of a 31-year-old father. Their inability to do so right now is simply proving all of the concerns about the Democratic Party in the current state of its radicalism correct.
It is hard to comprehend how all these Democrats are crying about a job while they are celebrating the assassination of a father, the assassination of a husband, of a son. It's hard for me to understand. How can you make it make sense? You're dancing because this guy was assassinated, but you are also crying because you are losing a job? May God help these people, because I don't get it.
And the things that a lot of prominent Democrats were saying about President Trump, and these are similar things that were said about Charlie Kirk as well. Listen here.
Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
When we say Donald Trump is a fascist, fascism, a huge component of fascism is uniting racism, bigotry.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core.
I mean, when you listen to all of that, and again, similar things were said about Charlie Kirk, is it any wonder why some crazed person snapped and took his life? And does the left need to stop fanning the flames like this?
I don't think it is fair to put a crazed, completely immoral and imbalanced person going and committing murder on the entire Democratic Party. I think that is a huge stretch. I think that people are allowed to say what they want to say. They were running for office. There was in the heat of the campaign.
What are you talking about? This lady just said there needs to be unrest in the streets. This is not freedom of speech. This is inciting violence.
You cannot put the actions of a crazed, mentally imbalanced person on the entire Democratic Party. That is wildly unfair. It is wildly irresponsible to do that. And I don't think, again, You have the right to say what you want to say. You don't have the right to commit violence. And there's a huge difference.
Right, but when you say things like that, I mean, you raise the threat level that people perceive, particularly people on the far left, that there may be somebody out there who says, well, there's only one way to deal with this threat. And as we saw with Charlie Kirk.
And she's talking about, oh, one person. No, this is not one person. You guys remember there were multiple attempts to end President Trump's life. We see these acts of evil from the left over and over again. And there's never accountability.
And Democrats never want to take responsibility when some people decide to take their rhetoric seriously. But you know who else is taking their rhetoric seriously? The average American who is realizing that for the very views that Charlie Kirk held, many of them hold those exact same views. And the people who hated Charlie Kirk probably hate them as well because of those views.
Of course. And we know that. And what are some of the views Charlie Kirk stood for? Family values, Christian values, patriotism, put God first, talk to the people that do not agree with you, have conversations, see where we meet, see where we agree on things, see how we can work together. Those are the things Charlie stood for. And those are the things most of the American people, at least from the conservative side, those are the things we believe in. You don't agree with me? Let's talk about it. But no, from the left, it's like, oh, you don't agree with me? I'm going to cancel you. I'm going to delete you. I'm going to...
These extremes on the Democratic side and the Republican side are holding everyone hostage, and it is completely un-American to be doing that. And I just think that if we could all take a step back and realize that these are imbalanced people, they have mental illness, and that is the problem. That is not the Democratic Party I am part of, and I think it is unfair to pin it on that.
It's not just these people having mental illness problems. The Democratic Party itself has mental illness problem. And that's why they are running with these type of rhetorics, because they have nothing else to run on. They have no policies. And they have a bunch of hidden policies that they know majority of the American people would not approve of. They want men to go to women's bathroom. If you ask most people in America, they would say we don't subscribe to that. They want to take the power away from parents to give it to kids. They want to take the power away from parents to give it to the teachers. They want the teachers to decide what they want to teach to kids. Most of the American people would be like, I think this needs to be a collective decision. I think we need to see the curriculum. I think we should have a say as parents on what you're going to teach our kids. I don't want you to be asking my kids, what do they identify as? The kids are 6 years old. They don't have to be having those conversations, but at least not with a stranger, you know? So I think, and that's the reason most of these elected officials from the Democratic Party, they're just running with those type of rhetorics, identity politics, and that's what they've been doing for years, because they do not have policies to run. And that's why President Trump won the election. Whether it's immigration, whether it's economy, whether it's sanctions, most of the American people understand, listen, it's time to put America first. And the Democratic Party, they are not working on behalf of the American people. They want to work for illegal migrants, right? They tell us China, we don't have to worry about China. Anyway, guys, as always, thanks for watching. I think they should certainly expel Ilhan Omar from those committees. And not just that, I think there should be an investigation to see, to find the real source of her wealth, from $15,000 to $30 million. I would love to know the formula she used. I think most of the American people would love to know that formula, so we can start making some money as well. But anyway, guys, it's definitely is disturbing, you know, when we see disrespectful, evil comments coming from elected officials. It is certainly unacceptable. And I think us, the American people, and not just conservatives, I think this is a basic humanity issue. You know, I think the American people should stand up and say, listen, man, this man just lost his life. Like, have some respect for his family, you know? But anyway, guys, as always, thanks for watching. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment, let me know what you think as I continue to create most importantly, better content, and call out the nonsense from the Democratic Party. Call out the pure nonsense from the woke liberals. And as always, you guys stay safe. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.